Okay. How all are enjoying the sessions? They all, am I audible? Yeah. Okay. So, I have some announcements to make. You all might have seen the posts of Cloud Community Days, which is coming up in the end of August. We are all excited about it, right? Yeah, it will be a lot of fun. Okay. I think most of the attendees have joined. Okay, so today's session will be taken by Shatanik Mahanty. He is a software developer intern at Ultis Technologies. He'll be talking about user flow and navigation. This is a part of Android Study Gems Pathway 3, where you will be learning how to develop an app using Jetpack Compose. And finally, on 16th, who all will be completing the app, we will have a offline session, and there are a lot of swags and prizes. We're all excited about that. Uh, Maybe if your app gets approved by Google Play Store, that will be exciting, right? Yeah. Shadani, you there? We can start, I guess. Over to you, Shadani.
Thank you, Snehanshu Bhaiya. Hope everyone can hear me and see me as well.
Shadani, your voice is a bit low. Can you check the setup?
Hi everyone, are you able to hear me now?
Still feeble.
Are you able to hear me now? Am I audible? Please write in chat once, everyone. Okay, great. So let me share my screen for a second. Okay, and let me know if you can see it. Awesome. Okay, so hi everyone once again, and I am Shatanik Mahanty, software developer intern at Altis Technologies. I basically develop Flutter apps there, and I am really interested in Flutter. But I had the great opportunity to learn Jetpack Compose and give a session today. It was a really fun experience learning Jetpack Compose. So today I'll be talking about user flows and navigation. User flow is basically not part of technical coding or such stuffs. It is basically something that you do before making an app to make sure your app goes in the right direction. And the navigation part will be done in Jetpack Compose. It will be done in Jetpack Compose using code written in Kotlin. So we will start today. I will explain to you how this session will go. So first, we will talk a bit about user flows. Then we will talk about navigation using Jetpack Compose, and then we have some seasonal delicacies to share with you. I have made one app to explain the concepts that will be part of the Jetpack Compose navigation. So that's all. Let's get started. So I hope the slides are visible. Please respond in chat once. Okay, great. So this is me basically, Shatanik Mahanty, and this is my LinkedIn profile. So after the session, if you need to connect with me for some extra doubts, means after a few days, then you can obviously connect with me through this link. We will be sharing the slides with you, so you will also have the slides for future reference. So let's get started. So what are user flows? User flows are basically a map to your app components. Why I am saying a map, I will show you one user flow here a few minutes later. User flows are basically diagrams which you draw. They are diagrams which describe how the your app components are linked to one another. App components, in the sense, I am basically talking about screens here. These screens are linked through sometimes button clicks, through interactions on images. If you consider WhatsApp, for example, there are chat heads. Like suppose you are talking to your friends, you can see the chat head, and if you click on it, the friends chat history show up there. So that is basically the connection between the two screens. That is what we define in the user flows, and it's really important to do that beforehand, because if we don't define user flows, the problem what happens is that we start writing code, and then after a few weeks or few months, we come across problems like we see that uh, there are a lot of problems, like you may need to change that user flow. It happened with big companies, so they have taken this step to design user flows. And the main problems that happen is that, suppose we are talking about a screen that is connected to two or three screens at once. But then what happens is that one of that screen is become obsolete and we don't need it at that time. But now what the developers need to do is they need to remove all the references to that screen. And they have wasted a lot of time doing that. So what user flow helps is that we have those user flow from beforehand. We do analysis, design, and all those stuff beforehand, so we know that this is something of a final or stable state that we can implement easily and will not waste developer resources or time. So this is really important from that perspective. It is a diagram that shows at a glance the path the user will take throughout your app or website to achieve a certain goal. Going on to the next slide. To design user flow, we have a four pillar system. One second. Okay. We have a four pillar system that starts with analysis, then we go to design. After design, we have evaluation, and then we have implementation. Why this is so important? Because the four pillar system has been scientifically researched and invented by UX designers who are continuously trying to improve the user interaction in apps. So the first step, analysis. What we do in analysis, we analyze the given problem statement by the company, and we make certain assumptions, as well as we take some fixed constants given by them, and then we design a user flow. That is the second step. After design, in design we basically make wireframes in Figma or Adobe XD. If you have seen tools like that, there you can design apps similar to um, what we design in Android Studio. Only the thing is that those things are not interactive. They are for the design. They are made by the designers, and they are for the reference of the developers, so that once they are making the front end, they can look at those designs and make the app through them. And then after design comes the evaluation stage. We evaluate the design and find any flaws. Means this is done by the developers. We find any flaws if there is in the design that we cannot do through the app, that may be possible from the design team but not possible for the developer team because of many constraints, like there could be financial constraints, there could be technical constraints, maybe the team size is not that big and currently we need to make the project fast. So because of that, the design team may need to reconsider their decisions and change the design once again. That's why you can see two arrows which are circular like this, and this process keeps on repeating unless or until we achieve a final state which is stable. And after evaluation comes the implementation state. In this implementation state, the developer or the development team implements the app, and through implementation they try to achieve a app which is uh, good in all aspects. But as we know, all apps are not means perfect at the first go. That's why we need to reevaluate and implement again and again. But through this four pillar system, we minimize the evaluation and implementation steps, so that we don't have to waste our resources. And then we are done with this four pillar system. So the user flow makes you think about how the user will navigate through your app or website to achieve their goal, so that you can design your screens in a productive way. So this is the productive thing I was talking about, that you don't have to do it again and again, means so many times if you do it in this process. And then this is a good user flow example. I hope everyone is familiar with the Apple Watch. It's a really fabulous device, and it's costly as well. So this is the health mess app diagram. In this diagram, you can see there is this home screen. You must be knowing that there are apps in the home screen in Apple Watch. So home screen has all the applications, and then they have designed one arrow that takes it to the app name. So basically what the user will do, user will click suppose this app, user will click this app, and then it will open the app which will show a title string and app name and the app logo. Here comes the app logo. So you can see how comprehensive this is. This is easily understandable by anyone and everyone who is not even a developer also can understand this. So this is how a good user flow example looks like. It clearly explains all the screens that the app has and what are their functionalities. You can see the heading. It shows what portion of the app this is, and the subtitle which defines the basically the functionality of that page. So in this short look notification, this page, we see the app icon and app names. And then in the custom long look notification, this is basically a chat app kind of. So they can see the sender message, text, and all that. This is the detail screen. And then in the custom long look notification, they have all these options: reply with voice, reply with template, dismiss. So you can perform all these actions here, and based on these two, they have divided into two screens. So see how this on button interaction, it's going here, on a specific click, it's going here and there. So it can be linked to any part of or any component of the app. So I will quickly get back to our host window, so I can check if there is any questions from your side. I will wait for 15 or 20 seconds and wait for your questions. So please ask away if you have any for the time being. Okay, so I don't think you people are having any questions for now. So I am moving on with our session. One second, guys, please. I'm having on call. Sorry, guys, I had to take care of something important, and we will continue again. So here we were talking about a good user flow example, and after this we'll be starting with the navigation components in the Jetpack Compose. So this is basically the today's start. So we will start with the setup. I have also created one app that completely guides you through how you will implement it in real life. So don't worry about that. I will not just show you slides. And for the setup, to support Compose, we have to use the following dependencies in the build.gradle file. This is basically the nav version we are defining. Nav version is for this implementation. In Android build.gradle file, we define implementation when we are going to use external libraries. Okay, so this Android x.navigation is to navigation compose, and this $nav version is basically for using this variable, which is 2.5.0 is the latest version currently. So what this does, Android has an external repository which contains all these codes for this navigation compose and all those stuff. So once you define a version number and the library name, it basically fetches the navigation components from that external repository. And in this tutorial, I'm assuming you already have a Jetpack Compose set up in your project. Those how to set up those were discussed in the previous sessions taken by Srijan and Rishabhaya. So after this, we will go to the next slide. Let's implement it. And our goal is to achieve navigation in app using Jetpack Compose navigation component. Uh, so there are three sub goals for today. We should be able to navigate between screens. We should be able to pass data between screens, and we should be able to manage navigation backstack using additional navigate option of the navigation controller's navigate functions. Don't worry, I will talk about this backstack and what are the additional navigate options of the navigation controllers. I won't leave you guys hanging, so nothing to worry about that. So let's start. Uh, So navigation components in Jetpack Compose. Uh, for navigation components, we need a controller and a host. First things, these are the first things we need. So why a controller and why a host? So basically in Jetpack navigation, what we do for the we need the controller because we need something that can control all the parts of the navigation, something that can means navigate between from one screen to another. And for that, the controller, that's where the controller comes in. It provides us important methods, important parameters which we can pass to customize the navigation and move from one screen to another. And what the host does, this host hosts all the screens that are present, all the routes that are present, and using that the compiler gets to know that these are the screens we have and how they are connected. So the remember nav controller function provides us with the necessary nav controller in Compose. So basically the controller we need is provided by the remember nav controller function that is provided to us by Compose. I will show to you how this works and everything in just a few seconds. So next we need to create a nav host using nav host object provided by Compose and attach the controller and Hey everyone, can you hear me? Okay, there was a problem in the event platform. It was not letting me unmute. Sorry for that. Uh, basically, I think you have not been able to hear the goals and the navigation. So I will repeat that. Please confirm once. Okay, I will start from the goal sections one more. So our goal is to achieve navigation in app using Jetpack Compose navigation components. And these are our sub goals: to be able to navigate between screens. We should be able to navigate between one screen to another and then another, like that. And we should be able to pass data between screens. We should be able to manage navigation backstack using additional navigate options of the navigation controllers navigate functions. I'll be talking in brief about this later on. So after that, we have the navigation components in Jetpack Compose. Okay, sorry. It got muted. Sorry, got share got cancelled. Okay, so can you guys see? Please confirm once. Okay, okay, great. So basically, these are the goals. In the goals, we need to achieve navigation in app using Jetpack Compose navigation component. We should be able to navigate between screens, pass data between screens, and manage navigation backstack using additional navigate option of the navigation controller's navigate function. Okay. So for getting started in navigation, for getting started to do navigation in Jetpack Compose, we need a controller and a host. So basically, what the controller does is it gives us access over the various methods and parameters we need to jump from one screen to another or navigate from one screen to another. It also gives us special access over the navigation backstack. So I will be talking about that a bit later. And we need a navigation host. So what the host does, it stores basically all the screens and stuff and connects them. So that's the work of the host, and the host is also means the host also needs a navigation controller to know that this navigation controller will be used throughout the app. And basically, for the what we do for the navigation host and the controller, we define it on the top of that from the starting point, so that we can pass it to any screens at any time necessary. Because if we define it in the single screens, we won't be able to link it to other screens. So it's very important we define it on the top of the app. I will show you in the code what that means. And the remember, nav controller function provides us with the necessary nav controller in Compose. One second, guys. So, guys, a very important announcement. We have the first winner for today's quiz section. So, the first winner for today's quiz section is Madhya Malik. Very warm congratulations to Madhya, and you will be getting goodies from our side. And so, congratulations once again. So, let's get back to the session. And here we were talking about the remember nav controller function. It provides us with the necessary nav controller in Compose, and the nav host, we were talking about that. And I was assuming you already have the Jetpack Compose setup in your project. So let's see how it all works. So as you know, we have one theme that we need to do so that the app has one uniform theme. This is part of the material theming, and it is present in the theme.kt. So here, this is auto generated by Compose from first. I have just changed the color values a bit. I have changed them to blue, and that is defined in the color.kt. So this all is present in the UI.theme. For beginners, you don't need to change this because it does not put put any changes in the app's logic. It just changes some colors and all those stuff that you can always learn anytime. So I will start with the navigation part. So as you can see inside the nav test theme, I have put in one navigation component. So this navigation component is provided by this import. Uh, we have it in the com.example.nav test package, so we don't need to import it. So this is, as you can see, the navigation file. Here you can see we have one composable navigation. So this navigation, in this navigation, you can see we have the nav controller. This is one. This is one variable which stores the value from the remember nav controller that I was talking about in the slides. So this remember nav controller is one internal function by Jetpack Compose, which provides us with the navigation controller. And this navigation controller, we pass it to the nav host. In the nav host, we also have the start destination. I will be talking about the start destination a bit later. This is basically a route, and after we talk about routes, I will explain to you what this part is. In the navigation controller, as you can see, it's the navigation nav controller variable is passed to the nav host, and after that we define was one graph builder, which takes in few arguments. I'll be talking about it after I show the definitions to you. Okay, so the key terms in nav host, the nav controller. This controller can be used to control various navigation actions, such as navigating to a new composable, defining properties of a navigation, and other stuffs. And in navigation graph in Compose is used to define the routes that are present in an app and composables that those routes point to. All the navigation arguments and their properties of composables are defined here. This is passed to the nav host. So basically for the navigation graph, you can consider something as a graph that stores all your composables, means all your screens, and how they're means connected to your app. So here in Jetpack Compose, if you compare with the original Android navigation that we used to do using XML, it's completely different. And the main reason for that is in Jetpack Compose, we only use a single activity, which is the component activity. Okay, so this component activity, after that, we don't use any other activity. We are simply creating one navigation in the top part of the app, and inside that, we are just passing composables. So you can consider this as kind of a single page app that consists of multiple composables which are interlinked through a nav graph builder. This is the nav graph builder which we are passing here, this part, and inside that there are a lot of composables. So what is this route here? What are we doing here? So if you consider web applications, you can see that like this here, gtg.community.dev. After that there is a boe. So this is kind of a route. This route is basically a string that defines the various parts of the app. Okay. So, like this, we have similar concepts in Jetpack Compose, which are routes. So, these routes are being defined here in the one second. In the screen class. In screen class, we have three objects you can see: welcome screen, home screen, and detail screen. So, for this, all these three objects, I have defined screens with routes: welcome screen, home screen, and detail underscore screen. So why I have done it like this, I could have just passed strings here, but I didn't do that. Instead, I put it in a separate class. That is because when we are navigating between screens, there are times when we need to access on screens routes multiple times. Suppose you are going to the profile page, you may have a link in home that takes you to the profile page, and you may have a link in another part of the app which takes you to the profile page. Then you need the same route, but what happens is that when you are doing that multiple times, it's difficult for a developer to remember like where that route is present, or what is the exact name for the route. So in that time these classes come in useful, because if you just reference the screen and then go for the auto suggestions, you can see all the routes. Just a bit of second, after that it will load. You can see the detail screen, home screen, and the welcome screen are already present. So if any developer see this, he will automatically understand that this is the detail screen and this route will be there. So these are good practices that you can follow to make your app more readable. So using this root argument that is defined here, we are getting this value. This value is what is being passed here in this composable root, and this composable is different from this composable. This composable is actually part of the navigation component and different from a composable which defines a UI component. So inside that we give a root, and after that we pass the welcome screen here. Welcome screen is basically a composable once again, or the screen. So for the inside a composable we are defining one root which is linking it to the composable. If you see the welcome screen, it's a composable, a screen. I will run the app and show now to make you understand better. So let's wait for it to finish building. Let me know, guys, if you can see my screen. And we already have the question to guys. And as I can see, lots of you have answered the question as well. So let's wait for the winner, and then we will post the winner here. So till then, let's see if the app finished building. It's still building. You can see the tasks here going up. So once all these tasks finish, the app starts to install. Because these are navigation components we are talking about, we cannot just view it using the preview. We have to interact with the app. That's why I'm building it. So as you can see, the Gradle build finished and it has installed. So you can see this is the Mangomania app, and this is the delicacy I was talking about. I think everyone likes mangoes. So what do you say, guys? Who here likes mangoes? Nobody likes mangoes. That's weird. Okay, Pankaj, you like mangoes. Prosenjit also likes mangoes. Great. So this is the Mangomania app. You can see, and once we click on play, you can see it gives us a list of mangoes. You can scroll through it and see 5 mangoes. I am very poor, guys. That's why I could not buy more than 5. If you have more money, please buy me more mangoes. Okay. So you can see there are lots of mangoes here. So basically the objective here was to go from the welcome screen to this Mangomania app homepage, which gives us a list of mangoes, their description, and the location where they are popularly found. Okay. So this is part of the navigation. You can see we are going from one screen to another screen directly. So how this is being done, we are in the welcome screen, we are passing the nav controller. This nav controller is being passed from this navigation page. You can see this welcome screen is taking in on parameter nav controller, and this nav controller is this one we have implemented here. So we are passing it to the welcome screen. So in this welcome screen, I have written a few UI components. If you are having problem seeing it right now, I will share the GitHub code later, but I will explain the navigation components since they are part of our current session. So here you can see that we have started with the text Mango Mania. This is, if I go back, you can see this is the Mango Mania, and then I have put in one GIF. This is the GIF, and after that we have that icon button. This is the icon button which once we click, it takes us to the home page. Okay. So basically what happens here is that I am using that nav controller's navigate function. This navigate function, what it does, it navigates us from one screen to another. It also has other properties which we will see as the session progresses, and it takes in one route. So here you can see that I have used the screen.home screen.root here again, which was being used here, screen.home screen.root. So as you can see, I don't have to remember this value welcome underscore screen every time. I just call it using screen.home screen.root. Isn't that efficient? So here if you go to the home screen, this is the home screen, and I will show you the home screen code. These are those are lots of UI components here. There the scaffold, there is the top app bar, which is this one, this component. And then I have used components which were taught in previous lectures, like the lazy column I have used. So you will find similarities here in lectures if you attended those. We defined one card, and if you notice here, you can see the same function nav controller dot navigate. So what do you think will happen, guys? Here, let's have guesses. Let me repeat it once more so that everyone is clear. What do you think will happen here using this nav controller dot navigate? Okay, let me tell you the answer. Okay, we navigate to another screen. All right, great, Sudhanshu. You guessed it correctly. So not only do we do that, we also pass in one value here, which I will show you shortly. So once we go to the new screen, you can see it shows the detailed description, which was being shown using ellipses last time. If you see here, there are three dots, which reduces the text amount. But if you click here, it takes you to this screen. It's scrollable below as well. So we can see all the details related to this mango Himsagar, which is found in Murshidabad, West Bengal. So I can go back to the screen and I will explain you how it's happening. You can feel a kind of connection between these two screens. Once we click on this, it's taking us to another screen with the details of that mango. If I click on Alfonso, it will take us to the screen that is related to Alfonso. It's not like I designed all different screens for different mangoes. Created just one separate page which can house all the mangoes. So how I am doing that? Basically, in navigation, what we can do as one added advantage of Compose, directly we can pass in arguments. So this is the detailed screen root. You can see I passed in something called index. Okay, so I have passed in one value here. So this I have defined in root, and why I have passed it like this, because this is a default parameter we can pass here. Like if you see in this web page, there is one parameter given here. So similarly in Jetpack Compose we have parameters, and we define those parameters and their types in the sorry guys, in the arguments, a list of nav argument index and then the type. Okay, it will become more clear if I format it. Okay, so this list of function, what it does in Kotlin, it lets us define a list. So for every argument we have, suppose we have two arguments, like maybe here we have something like price of the mango. So we define price here. Okay. So for that case, we can for every arguments we can create more arguments here. So this is basically the place where you define your arguments. So this is one nav argument. We define it using the nav argument function. One second, guys. Okay. So we have the winner for the second quiz, Pankaj Sadhukan. Congratulations, Pankaj. You will be getting goodies from Google and a warm congratulations from me. So the correct answer, as I can see, is Linux kernel. Congrats on getting the correct answer. Okay, so let's get back to the app, guys. We're passing index here. So the index, what it does, I will explain to you in a bit. Let's learn about the nav arguments first. This nav arguments takes in a name. Okay, so this name here is the index, and we give the same name in the root by defining a slash and giving the name inside the angular brackets. Okay, so in the nav arguments, we also have to specify the type of the arguments. So here I have given nav type dot integer type because it will be integer. We can also have other types, like there is string type, bool type, boolean array, float type, all those other types you can use. Okay, so here I have used integer type. So why I took the option to pass in one index? What is this index? Why I did that? So basically for that you have to understand how I implemented the mango concept. So here we have one mango model. There is this data class. Data class Python, in Pythons are basically classes which are used to define one data relation. In this data relation, we have one mango model. So every mango will have one name, which is the type string. It will have one details, which is again string. There is image URL, which is string, and there is this location, which is string. So basically, these are the properties of the mango model. And in the mango list class, here I have defined a val mangoes, which is a list of mango models. Okay. So this name Alfonso details is equal to the details of Alfonso, and then the image URL and the location like this. There is mango model once again. This is for Himsagar, the details, and again the image URL. It's going on like that for all the mangoes. Okay. So this is how I define the mango models. So as you know, a list of Python can be accessed, a list of Kotlin can be accessed using indexes. Okay. So for that, I define indexes in one second. Let me open the home screen. Yeah. So here you can see in the home screen, I have one val m list, which is the mango list, which invokes the mango list constructor here. So after we have the mango list object, we can call mangoes to get the list. In the lazy column you can see we have to define items. So mango in the items we have defined the size mlist dot mangoes dot size. So mlist is the variable we defined earlier to create the mango list. Okay, so in that we are giving the size, and we are getting one index parameter. This index parameter, this is the part of the lambda syntax of Kotlin. Using this index syntax, we will use to access the mangoes, each mangoes. Okay, so basically if you write like this, mlist mangoes of index dot name, so consider this in it will kind of go in like a loop fashion. So suppose this is 0 at first, so it will go here to this mango list. It will take the 0th index. This is the object present at 0th index, and it will fetch the mango model. Okay, so it will fetch the mango model, and we can get the name using dot name. So inside the column, I have defined text, a spacer to create a bit of height. You can see a little bit of height is there. And after that, we have the details here inside a row, because after the details, we will also have the image. Here comes the image. And then we have spacer to define the height once again, and the row to create another icon and the location. Okay, so this is basically how this UI goes. And using the index, we are uh, uh, we are getting the index from this lazy column. So every time we scroll and get to a new item, this gets built using the lazy column, and the data is accessed using this mlist.mangoes.index syntax, and dot name dot details dot location image, they are used to get the specific data for that specific parts. Okay, so coming to the point that why we're using that index in that navigate, here you can see that I have defined one clickable modifier So this clickable modifier basically activate clicks on any items. Here I have attached it to the card modifier. So as you can see, I have used the nav controller dot navigate screens dot detail screen dot root. This is similar to the one we used before, that screen dot home screen dot root, but you can see something extra, slash dollar index. So basically what this does, this dollar index syntax, it takes in the index value and appends it to this string. Okay, so basically if the index is 0, this will become slash 0. If it is 1, it will become slash 1. Okay, so as you can see, I have passed in the index here. So if I am passing the index to the root of the detail screen, I will have the index in the detail screen. So once I have the index, similarly, as I created the M list here, the mango list, I can create the mango list there and access the object. Is that clear, guys? Can you understand that how I am accessing the mango list? Okay, so basically, that's how I was accessing the Mango list, and using this index, I can access it again in the detail screen. So for that reason, we're passing is index, which is an integer value, to the detail screen. Okay. So in this navigation, you can see we have this index parameter and of type int. We don't need this again. I was using it for explanation purpose. And this composable at the end returns a detail screen, which takes in the parameter mango index. If you go to the detail screen, you can see in the constructor we have mango index, which is of type nullable integer. It is nullable integer because arguments can be null, and for that reason we have to consider that part. And we are using this get int index, which is the argument name we defined here. Okay, so basically this is how we are getting the argument here in the detail screen. Here using the mango index, now I can access the index of the mango. So you can see in the title of the app bar, if you click here, this title gets changed to the name of the mango. So in the title we are using a text which takes in the mango index and dot name. So using this mango index, we are getting the name of the mango. And I have used this question mark is to 0. This syntax stands for what we will do if the mango index is null, because I defined it as nullable. So for that case, I have defined it as 0. But this will never be null because in the navigation, we are using this default argument, this mandatory argument. So because we are using mandatory argument, it can never be null, but we have to give it here because otherwise the compiler will throw in warnings. So basically that's how we are getting data here. You can see the mango index.image URL is used to get the image, and then you have the location here. This is the part of the location, and then we have the text.details. So we are getting the details in that way. So now coming to some important parts, like we discussed routes here, we discussed the navigation graph here, we discussed the nav controller, but we didn't discuss the start destination. So basically, what is the start destination? If we go to the navigation file once again, you can see we have the start destination. So in this start destination, I have given screen.welcome screen.root. So this basically specifies the welcome screen route. If you go back, this is the welcome screen. So if we specify a start destination, Jetpack Compose will know that this is the screen we start with. Okay, so this is how the start destination is being recognized by Jetpack Compose as the first screen. So this is the objective of specifying the first start destination. So guys, if you have any question, throw it my way. I will definitely answer them. I'll wait for 15 to 20 seconds to see if you guys have any questions. Yes, Sudhanshu, the first screen is the start destination. If we change it to let me show you how it's means recognizing. If you change it to home screen, you will see the home screen as the start destination. Let's rebuild the app. You can see once it built, it this the home screen is the start screen. If you press back here, you can see it exits. So that proves that this is the first screen, and we are using it in the start destination. So let's revert it back. Sudhanshu, are you clear on that? Okay, great. Uh, Guys, if anyone else has any question, please ask. Okay, I guess we're done with the questions for up till this part. So now consider a scenario where we are having these three screens. I will rebuild this app once more to get the welcome screen as the first screen, and then I will start. Now consider this screen. So suppose you are going from this to the next screen, and then the user clicks the back button. We are coming to this screen. But this shouldn't happen, right? Because this screen is kind of the welcome screen. And we don't need to show it to the user two times or three times once he clicks on back. After we go from this screen to the next screen, it should be removed, right? So this is basically happening because we have one concept called the back stack in navigation compose. Uh, so basically what the back stack does, for every screen we're navigating, it keeps track of the previous screen. So if you go back, you can see this screen. If you go back, you can see the welcome screen. Everything is stored in the back stack. As you know, stack is a data structure. So Jetpack Compose uses that data structure to store the data of what screens were navigated before. So this backstack can also be used to get the data. This you can see that we are on this screen, and then we are going to that screen, but still it is present in the backstack. So basically what we can do to get rid of this problem that the first screen is appearing again once we click on the play, we have specific functions in Jetpack Compose that can be used to get rid of the first screen. So we can modify the behavior of the navigate function using these few functions and parameters. There is the pop-up to, which pops everything up to a specified destination of the backstack before navigating to the given destination. So what this means, I will show you through an example. Let's modify the code a bit, and then I will explain. Let's go to the home screen. So as you can see, I have passed in one function pop-up to and the root of the home screen to the pop-up to. So let's see what happens new using after I have done this. Let's rebuild the app. So the app has launched. After we go to this screen and then we go to the details screen, if you click back and then you click back, it comes to this screen. Okay, so one second. I guess it did not refresh properly. So as you can see, once I go to this screen from the home screen, if I click back, it removes the home screen from the root. Okay. So inclusive does this, that it removes the screen that we are passing it here. So what we can do, we can just cut this and we can paste it in the welcome screen. One second. So once you do that, if you click back, you can see the app is exiting. So the stack is not remembering the nav controller screen root, which is this one, the home screen. It's not remembering the welcome screen root once we are navigating to the home screen. Okay, because I have given the inclusive equal to true. And then there is another parameter, launch single top. So this parameter of the navigate function, what does, it makes sure that the particular composable is present in the backstack only once. So if there is one case where you consider this case, there is suppose you are in this composable, and you receive one notification from this app that one new mango has been added to the list, which is suppose one mango has been added and that notification pops up. So if you click on this, and this same page opens, okay, on top of this. So basically this is this detail screen which is opening, again on top of the backstack. But you don't want that to happen at one time. You only want one mango detail to be open. Okay, so what you can do in the navigate part, you can do the launch single top to be true. So once you do that, it will be practically impossible to open the same screen twice. So that's how the launch single top works. Unfortunately, I can't show that to you because I don't have an architecture here that allows it to open twice on this single screen. So after that, we have the backstack. Backstack, I already told you, backstack is a data structure maintained internally by the compose to keep track of all the routes previously traversed and the arguments passed by the previous routes. Okay, so that's how the backstack take cares of the navigation previous routes, and that's how these parts work. This launch single top and the pop-up function. So if you guys have any question till now, please let me know. And congrats, Orindam, on being the winner for the third question. You will be getting goodies from Google. So guys, let me know if you have any questions. I will be waiting a few time. Yes, Pankaj, it is the LIFO data structure stack, which is modified a little bit for the Jetpack composed and named as backstack. It is a bit more powerful than the stack. Can you please explain launch single? Okay, so basically what happens in the launch single top, consider this page as a screen. Okay, so let's consider that this page opens after from this slide we perform one on click. We click and this page opens. Okay, so suppose in one app you have one feature that opens the app from from a notification. Okay, you get notification like when you are chatting in the WhatsApp, you get notification of new messages, and when you click on that, new chat opens. Okay, so basically for this slide, also consider that we have that notification feature, and once we click on that notification, it opens this tab. Okay, so it can open from here as well as from the notification. This page, it can open from the notification as well, but you don't want this page to be available to be opened twice. You only want it to be opened once. So in our case, what is happening, once we click on this, it's also opening this page, and once we click on the notification, it's also opening this page again. So it's present in the back stack twice, but we only want it to be present once. So if we set this launch single top to be true, what happens is that it will not allow it to be opened twice. It will only available once in the back stack. So Simon, does that explain your question? Okay, great. Okay, guys. So this was all that was to navigation in Compose. You can always do more stuff with navigation, which I did not do here because they require advanced concept of Jetpack Compose as well, which will help you navigate through fragments, which will help you implement deep links in your app. Deep links are basically the links which allow you to open the app through web URLs. Like you can see that if you click on a map link, it opens in the map app if you have that installed. So those are basically deep links, but since I don't have any domain under my name, I can't show that to you. If I had that, I would have definitely shown that to you, because it's really interesting and really fun to do that. Maybe give it a try sometime and ping me up. I will really love to see what you do with that deep link stuff once you learn that. So as I can see, the question for quiz will be coming up real soon. So be ready for that. Another giveaway is coming. So that's it, guys. The question and answer. We are approaching the question and answer session. Let's get to answering those questions. Otherwise, people will break into my house. Okay. So if you have any question regarding all the things we have done till now, please be sure to ask. And Sudhanshu has one question. Deep links as in URL with custom protocol. Yeah, those are URL with custom protocol. Like if you let's say we are opening one Maps Google. So let's say you search here something. Yeah, okay. You have this URL. So if you share this URL to someone, and if you click on that URL, Sudhanshu, that will take you to the Google Map app if you have that in your phone installed. So that is basically what a deep link is. If you define a domain that belongs to you inside the app, and there are specific criteria which are met, and specifying that which URL takes your takes control to which part of the app, that is basically a deep link. So does that answer your question, Sudhanshu? Okay, great. So guys, anyone else has any other question? Also Srichan has another question for you, which is for the quiz. Be ready to answer that. You'll surely be getting cool goodies. I can see lots of enthusiastic attendees which are giving answer who are giving answers. Everyone wants goodies, right? Okay, guys. So basically, I took help of Just in Mind for the four pillar system diagram. They have been a real great help for that awesome diagram you saw on the four pillar diagram. And then I have GTG Cloud Kolkata to thank for this awesome slide template. It's really amazing, you can see. And the developer.android.com Jetpack Compose navigation resource related to the slide on navigation in Jetpack Compose. And I have giphy.com for those awesome GIFs. Okay. Aftab, congrats on winning the goodie for question 4. We have one last question coming up for today, so stay tuned. Thank you, Sudhanshu. I really hope that you like the session. And thank you, Susan, as well, for conducting the quiz. We do have one last question, so stay tuned, guys. So, this is the end, guys. But is it really? No. This is the beginning of your journey to become a full fledged Android developer. It starts now and here. See how happy he is doing code on Jetpack Compose. He seems to be really excited, and he also has a MacBook. So be sure to ask Anubhav Bhaiya for that. He will surely provide you one MacBook. And that's the end of the slideshow. So Prasenjit wants a MacBook, and Anubhav Bhaiya will provide him one. I want to thank everyone for coming out in such great numbers for all these sessions. Without your continuous support, all this would not have been possible. Thank you, guys. And we have the question 5, guys. Be sure to answer fast. Sabyasachi has also had to return his MacBook as he resigned from his previous company. No, Sudhanshu, I don't see any other advantage other than developing for iOS. Their architecture is actually made in that way that you can't develop for iOS otherwise if you don't have one MacBook. You can always use virtual MacBooks which are available for rent from various websites. Other than that, I don't see any extra advantage. Also, there is one advantage that those are really fast machines because they're kind of premium. So that's one thing. I personally never used one MacBook because it kind of fell off to buy one MacBook just for the purpose of developing for iOS. I just follow good programming practices that are for iOS and Flutter, and I let my other team members who have iOS, means other team members who have MacBooks to test out those features and let me know, and that is how I basically do those iOS development part in Flutter. Yeah, you can say that user experience is really nice. Yeah, that's another advantage. You don't have to shut it down. Yeah, guys, do be sure to make means share your email with Srijan in DM, because otherwise we can't give those goodies to you. So make sure to do that. So, guys, I will be handing over the mic to Anubhav Bhaiya, who will do some announcements. So, bye for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah, Elementary OS is really nice. I have used it. It is really great. Do give it a try once.
Hi everyone. Just give me a very quick yes if you can hear me. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this session. I'll not take a lot of time from everyone. Um, yeah, the idea is to very quickly let you know what's coming up. So the people who will be completing an app while the duration of Android study jams is on, which is basically since 1st of July to 16th of July, if you are completing an app, you will be given direct pass to the next event if you're coming to the event place that is happening at NASCOM on Saturday at 11 a.m. So you'll be given a direct pass. For that, you need to contact me. You can either email me or else you can just use the contact chapter option on the chapter page. I guess it is visible on the chapter page somewhere. You can just use that option. Or else, if you're a part of the Telegram group, then you can definitely just ping me there that hey, I have completed my app and I would like to have a direct pass. Right. So you will directly get a pass and you will not have to go to the wait list. If you're already on the wait list and then you complete the app, let me know. I'll release your ticket right away. Right. So that is the first thing. And the second thing is that I'm not sure how many of you noticed, but there is something coming up. And I have been talking about this for a while now. And let me share my screen. Uh, yeah, there's a event called Cloud Community Days coming up, which is supposed to be the largest cloud developer event happening in Eastern India this year. And this will be happening on 27th and 20th August. There will be 2 days for the event. There is already a become a speaker running for this, and very soon you will also get the reserve your seat option. Right, so it's happening in 44 days. The countdown timer has been set, and yeah, looking forward to having all of you there. Although the process is a bit different for this, you need to apply to be a part of this event, right? So registering for the event, you will have to apply, and then if your application is selected, you will be given a ticket. Right. So make sure that you update all your GitHub profiles and LinkedIn profiles and everything. If you have a site, if you have a blog, make sure it's updated because we'll be asking you for those links. And if you provide those links, we will be able to get you a ticket quicker. Right. So this is happening and you can tell your friends about it. We will share the official link very soon. Yeah, you cannot be on the waitlist for this event, Sabyasachi, because this event does not have a waitlist as such. We have not even released the tickets or the RSVP has not started yet. Yeah. So this event is happening soon, and if you have projects, if you have a startup, if you are part of who wants to be featured in this event, which will likely be around 500 people, and yeah, most likely happening in some posh location. Hopefully, if we get a nice venue. So yeah, let us know, right? If you are a part of a startup which wants to present something, or if you have a project which you want to showcase here, we will be giving slots to everyone who is completing a nice app or a nice project. You will be asked to record a 1 minute video, and we will release that video on all our social media channels, and also will play during the event on the Cloud Community Days. Right. So yeah, looking forward to having all of you there. And besides that, on 16th we have the Android Study Jams finale. So on the Android Study Jams finale, you might be on the waitlist, yes. But if you complete an app and you let us know that you have completed an app, that is your direct ticket to it, right? There are no questions asked if you have completed an app in the last 15 days. And yeah, let us definitely know, right? Sabyasachi, if you're on the waitlist, you know how to come out of it. Just make an app and let us know that you have created this app, and we will give you a ticket right away. Otherwise, if people cancel, people who are ahead of you, if they cancel, then you surely get a ticket. But the sure shot way to get a ticket is to complete the app, right? Yeah, these were the announcements I had to make, and very soon you will be getting this Cloud Community Days link as well. And folks who turn up on 16th, if you have completed an app, you will be entitled to swags, which are kept only for the people who complete apps. And yeah, on 16th, we will have a limited number of attendees who will be coming without completing the apps, but mostly there will be folks who are just doing the general RSVP. And yeah, they will have to go through the waitlist process and everything, which happened in the previous events as well. Right. So yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. That was all. And stay tuned for more updates about Cloud Community Days. Thank you. Bye bye.